Hi and welcome back to Lifestyle League. My name is Satama Fokate and I'm not chilling alone. I'm chilling with Sistaboss.
Yeah.
Thapelo Pule.
Yeah, bo.
How's Thapelo Pule?
I'll see.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to get used to this.
Oh,
I'll
baby
see.
Thapelo.
Yeah, man. I still live in my young self.
Sistaboss, you know that's such a powerful name. You know, the first time I met you and they said Sistaboss, and I'm thinking, why was she so smart to actually call herself Sistaboss? Because it's such a powerful name. Why that name?
Yeah, but Sistaboss Kinanarabangata, if you have checked around. But however, I legally registered the name. I am Sistaboss.
Smart move.
Actually, yeah, I had to put the I am in front to make it unique. This name, I didn't give it to myself. I was given to it by my students because I've always been a youth developer in the space of the arts. So they called me Sistaboss, and this name got me in places.
Yeah.
Until my court case of one of my previous students for about 7 years. She went through an ordeal. And then the judge was like, Sistaboss.
Inside a court?
Yes. And remember, when you're in the space of youth development, kids come to your space, they call you Sistaboss. They don't even know your real name. So the statement, police station had Sistaboss, Sistaboss. And then when the cops comes to my house, they knock and Babatla Sistaboss, they're expecting her to like this big woman. Remember now, after COVID, gained weight. I was very tiny because I was a dancer by then. So
wow.
I was very short, very small, and Sistaboss. And I remember when Hakiloko caught that thing, Idulamu, I was so short.
Yes.
And the man was like, why do they call you Sistaboss?
So who took you to court?
Can I not say? Nobody took me to
but
court.
I'm saying, like,
I
how
was
do you end up?
supporting a student.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who went through an ordeal, through a space that I was in.
Okay.
Then I had to go through.
Okay.
That
your name
space.
Was always mentioned.
Yeah, Sistaboss. Then I
Sistaboss.
realized, you know what? If this name is Kantoro.
I might as well adopt it.
I might as well. Then I checked it out and I realized it's not registered, you know. I didn't do it immediately, but as time goes by, I registered it 2016, I think, officially so. So I was working with it until I realized, you learn tricks that business. Then I registered I am Sistaboss in 2016 as a trademark.
And today Sistaboss is a brand.
Yes, it is.
Tell us about the brand, you know, like, maybe before we even get to the brand. Who is Thapelo Pule before Sistaboss?
All right, Thapelo Pule ke ngwana mama gae le papa gae, born in Rustenburg, but grew up in Alex. You know, I went to Alex, standard 2. I think that's grade 4, right? Yeah. Grew up in Alex, started the arts in grade 5 when I met the late Ntate Maredi. They used to come to our school, go Alex, called Kata Primary School. The love for the arts began then, you know, and then, yeah.
How old are you when you get into the arts by then?
Grade 5. At grade 5, you're how old? Probably 10.
You're just a beginning.
Sure. I think I've been
grade
in
5,
the, yeah,
10, yeah.
I've been in the arts from a very young age because I used to dance traditional dance at grade 2 spaces. So in a house of artists. My grandmother was a storyteller and a singer. My mom was a dancer. But back in the days, in the rural community where this was just an extra thing.
Yeah, but you know what's the funniest thing? By then, it was just passion for them.
Yes.
They didn't even think about making money out of it. You know?
Yeah, then I grew up Channing. Post Channing, I went to Alex. I lived most of my life in Alex. I always say Channing gave back to me, but Alex made me, you know. 25 years living in Alex. Yeah.
So you've been there for as long as you can remember?
Yes, and then growing up, obviously you want to grow out and be independent, look for a better life for yourself, then you move out. But I always say Alex is my home. That's where I was crafted.
And 2016 you became Sistaboss?
2016 I became Sistaboss. Alex.
So next year you'll be celebrating 10 years of Sistaboss?
Yes.
That's a good one. I love that. So tell me, I look at Sistaboss, you know, I see you post a lot of things in arts and creative, arts and culture and creative groups. And I always get inspired by what you do. But I struggle to describe who Sistaboss is.
That's what I love.
Yes.
The mystery behind me. Like people always ask me, what exactly do you do? I'm a creative and a lifestyle entrepreneur. So entrepreneurship is broad. Being a creative and lifestyle entrepreneur means you can do just about anything. I'm not boxed as a singer.
I love that because we when we were conceptualizing our platform, the channel that we have, Lifestyle League, we said, what's that name that can actually capture everything?
Yeah.
And hence the name Lifestyle League.
Yeah. I mean, being a lifestyle entrepreneur, you create work, passion, business based on your lifestyle. Your business is created because of it supports who you are every day. It's more passionate and self-driven more than first love is that, then money. Obviously, you want money, but you want to build as a lifestyle entrepreneur. It's all about you. It's about your brand, what you want to get your hands into, and being the word entrepreneur means you can be anything. You can put your hands in. You can be an octopus. Put your hands in many buckets, basically. So I put my many hands in many buckets in the creative space. Hence, creative lifestyle entrepreneur. That's how I describe myself because of everything that you can find in between. I'm a production manager. I'm a producer. I'm a writer. I'm a poet.
What was your first attempt at the arts?
Yeah.
I know you said dance, but where you actually got paid, and the first attempt at actually seeing yourself as a businesswoman?
The first attempt, I think my business has always been education business. So after I had my child, I was like, I know my mom is going to be on my neck. They want me to go to Pick and Pay. Hey, because I'm a Mr. Price one day. I'm like, is this what the people do here?
Yeah.
Then I left. Interesting story is that I finished my grade 12 and then we hoped that I was going to go for varsity, but I couldn't because of finance issues at home and some internal family issues. But then I went to a good school. I cried. Then I remembered, girl, your life has always been pre-planned. I went to a good school. When I matriculated, I already had a diploma in computer studies and administration. Back then, it was a good diploma. So I cried, So
are you one of those that got diplomas or certificates like me, and I felt it wasn't education?
It wasn't.
Yeah, because I felt by then we used to work hard in getting these things, but felt like a person who's got a degree is much better than you. Because I've never used my diploma till recently when I started, doing what I do, and people say, what's your CV? And I found myself writing that I actually have a diploma, but I had forgotten that I have a diploma.
They tell me about it. I was upgrading my facilitation accreditation last month. So they were saying I must submit my highest qualification. I don't know where my matric certificate is. I don't know where my diploma is. I had to search. My mom searched Kochai. I searched at my brother's house where he used to be our former house in Alex. I searched in the boxes that I left Costa Rica. I couldn't find them.
I struggled to get my matric certificate after years, and I had to go. There's a place. Is it Umalusi?
Umalusi.
Yes. That's where I got my matric certificate.
Then I remembered, or maybe somewhere.
I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah. Then I checked my old email. That's when I found my matric certificate and my diploma. One, because I never make CVs. I don't have a CV. So people who know their qualifications are job seekers. I don't consider myself as a job seeker. I'm a job creator, Mina. So it's that thing of making copies because you are searching for a job. So for me, it's like, I got them, right? And then I carried on with my
That's
life.
when you remembered that. So you were still talking about computer science. So you studied computer science as well?
Computer studies. Basically back then, a diploma in computer studies and administration.
MS Word,
yes.
Excel, all those
so
things.
I went to Tesha King Learning Academy. It's a private school based in Tembisa. I matriculated there. So it had office administration inside. When everybody was going back to varsity, I'm sitting at home, I was crying because I wanted to go to school. I'm the smart one, or a tiny book, and now I don't have this opportunity. But then I took that thing and I looked for a job. Then I got a job, guys.
As a what?
As a receptionist for company Nyamaburu, guys. It's on the tombstone. You can imagine me sitting there saying, "Good morning, Khuyamare. This is Memorial and Tonton." And when it's lunchtime, I was miserable. I would go into the bathroom, take that big towel, throw it on the floor, sleep my 1 hour lunch.
Sure.
I wouldn't eat. Then
And that was before you got fired at Mr. Price.
that's before Mr.
But when
Price.
also when you get to Mr. Price, why do you clap Babanyani? I mean, these are just kids.
Yeah, I was frustrated. I mean, I had to go look for a job because I have a child. And then when I get there, this job wants me to pack t-shirts the whole day. Pack, somebody unpacks, pack. So literally a second after I pack, this child goes,
But that's your job.
and I'm like, yay.
So tell me, and then you then said, nope,
Yes.
I'm not meant for this.
I left Mr. Price. The following day, my mom woke me up and I said no. And I said to her, if you really, really want to chase me out today. Because I'm not going there. I'm not going to look for a job there. I'm not doing it.
But who were you expecting to raise your child?
I said to my mom, I'm going to leave this house. This child, you see, is your second born. I can't second born now. Whatever that you were doing for me, do for her.
And then you
Me,
left.
I'm going.
And you're not worried that you'll have another one out there.
No. So my mom was like, okay, she was very supportive. Then I started 4 months down the line, I started my own thing. I went go ANCYL, it's another local primary school in Pule. And I said, I know how to dance and act, and I've done leadership programs. Can I teach the kids? Yeah, that's how the journey actually started. And I used to go there twice a week, one in another school, and then the journey started.
And how much do they give you then?
It was voluntarily. Remember, I didn't want my mom to
But
tell me.
that's not a job yet.
Yeah, mama can every day, so I needed the purpose. So I woke up, kayada. Ha December ifika. Mama are happy bana ba batla diaparo tsa Christmas, daddy's all hour and then January, February, I packed everything and I left home and I left my child with my mom. Cause I can't.
And where to then?
After Mr. Price, ka fitla ko Alex ko renkeng. I fitla bare one Pretoria one kana mela taxi in Pretoria. I didn't even know where I was going. I got into a taxi that goes to Pretoria. I ke fitla ko Pretoria ke theoga. Mo ke fologa ngi di taxi tsa mabopane. Kana mela mabopane. And I knew if
But you had relatives there.
Letsatsi le nchapela late hona le ko malume ko mabopane. I'll figure something out, but I was not planning to go to mabopane. So I came mo taxing ha gona le ma comrade ANC youth league people mo taxing ba re ba ya ko Odi Stadium mona le dintonton ka re le nna ke ada. So I got to Odi Stadium, ka bloma kom ra ge wa tsema makhom. Hey hi hey go buiwa and everything, and I'm sitting there as this intellectual small baby. Then I got off there, ka bloma kom ra listening to them going, and almost at the end of the meeting I raised my hand. And I wrapped up the entire meeting in 3 words. And they were like, who are you? And I'm like, I am this person. That's how I actually became member of ANC Youth League.
So then, a member, that's funny. You become a member, coincidentally?
Yes.
A member of Alex or?
I mean, I'm there. You understand? And I don't even know, I don't have an address, but that's the journey of becoming a member.
Then you started staying in Mabopane?
Yes, I've always been drawn to boys. Boys has always been my friends. I was never a girly kind of a person growing up. So this guy comes to me, and I'm like, I don't know. This is my story. And this other guy, so are you looking for a room? That would be ideal. Can I 5 clip if you can get me a room here 500? Yeah, I'm looking for a room. And he said, no, I'll organize you one. Got me a room. My educator school bag, like camera fair. I put my bag there in that room, Patala, that old woman, I sat on that school bag. It's a high school musical, I can still remember. I sat like this the whole night, thinking in this empty room, what's next?
And then, fast
forward, that room ended up having a bed. I ran.
But how do you make money?
I remember I had a camera. Then I started running a photography business.
So your first business was photography?
Yes. And I bought that at that time, the instant
same
printing
time, yeah.
photos was.
Same time.
Yeah, same time was the it. So I would go to these ANC meetings, weddings, get print photos immediately, make money, and then pay my rent.
And then how do you end up in training? Because that's how I got to meet you.
Okay.
Years later, now you're in training.
Years later, I've been everywhere. And then I realized, sorry, when I do self-evaluation, I love teaching, but not educational teaching, teacher wako skolong. Then I should take that route of education. But then I had to specialize. Obviously, I had to look at arts education because I've been in the space of the arts. Remember, I was groomed to go Kasikibo, the late Bongani Linda in theater. Alex, you are involved everywhere.
We were talking to Mpho Molepo the other day, and he was giving us the history of Alex and the arts and...
Yeah, I was also a young person in the youth center that he was a big person at Kotuso, you know. I was young. By then, the casting, didn't confuse. This thing had the cast mentality.
So you moved from photography, you go back to Alex?
I went back to Alex because my next door neighbor broke into my room, stole my camera, stole my Adidas sneakers, stole my clothes. Yeah. This colored chick, man. But anyway. My business now is down because my camera is gone.
Yeah.
So I had to pack my things and go back home. And then I went back home with pride because of that very small man. I used to send Mama for the Pampers and stuff.
Yes.
And when I went back, my mom just wanted her daughter back.
Yeah.
She didn't want to lose me for anything. And she said, okay, be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
And
now I'm fine now.
So yeah, that's when I went back to Alex, started my own thing. I didn't want to be part of the cast. I don't know how to become part of the cast groups whereby group. 2005, I started my first dance group. And remember, I get poetry. That's how Bobongani discovered me. That already taught me a bit of theater primary. And then I was part of Victory Songoba for 2 years or so trying to learn theater. But
talking about poetry, how do you guys create those poems?
I think this is a skill. For some of us, it's natural. Then obviously I had to go to workshops of learning creative writing, how to craft things properly, so they say. But for me, as I said, I grew up in...
Is there a structure of doing a poem?
Yeah, I carry leading, even though for me it's not about that. Remember those structures of poetry, Shakespeare methodologies and everything else, and they were incorporated into the education system. But however, today we've got what we call contemporary lifestyles, contemporary poetry, contemporary music. So there is contemporary poetry.
But would you, if somebody, like for me now, if I wanted to put you on the spot and just say freestyle, would you do something like about Lifestyle League or something? Or
I think it's because we're different types of poets. There's poets who knows how to freestyle because they come from a background, hip hop and freestyling. And then there's some of us who are conceptualizers.
Okay.
So you need to give me time to conceptualize on what is it that I can
Style,
say?
Success,
yes, you
sport,
understand.
Yes.
So maybe if you put me on a spot to freelance, I might be a bad freelancer, but come back after a week.
Yes,
damn, I'll give you bars.
So can we put you on the spot so that you write us a poem? Not today.
Not today.
But we can post it later.
No problem.
Guys. So Sistaboss is going to write a poem about Lifestyle League.
Yeah.
One of these coming days, whether it's 3 months, whether it's 3 years, but one day it will come.
It's going to come.
No pressure. And then how do you...
So a lot happened between 2005 to 2006, 2016 actually, when I started I Am Sistaboss. A lot. Which that space was a learning space for me. I learned quite a lot. I used to work for Alex TV. Remember Bakileba Izama, Isaluko Open View.
Is it still existing?
No, it was at Open View for a very short period of time. Funds were stolen, blah, blah, blah. They still gave me a letter that said, we'll pay you after 90 days. It's how many years down the line?
Yeah, you're still waiting.
Over 5 years, I'm still waiting for the 90 days.
But
I worked there and I learned producing coming from theater. When I was groomed in the theater space, then I got into TV. And then I got there, I've died. Hey, rough. But guess what? I slayed them. I produced 3 shows.
Sorry, after students. Sorry. I know, that's why I'm adding that spice, because I know we have some of them here. You can see ukwatile skakwata.
So I slayed them because of one, I have a network. So when you want a show that has guests, make Sister Boss your friend. Because of she will have standby, stay 3. If you fail me, as I've got 3 standbys for my show, there will never be a cancel of a shoot. There's no way that I cannot. And you're growing up, you are exposed to Boma Orange, Bom Tuduzi, aka Suffocate. So at that time, remember they were the hype of the
There's
industry.
inspiration.
And then now I know them personally. So to get guests that are celebrity guests was like this on my fingertips. So that was my advantage.
Guys, you know, ne? Boma Orange, we're going to have them through Sister Boss, ne? That's a deal, ne? We're going to get those people through you. Hey, Sister Boss, we're supposed to be interviewing you, but hey, we are holding you for ransom now.
So it was quite nice to be in that space. I learned producing, and I didn't know that I've already been a producer. It's just that I didn't know what is this producing. I thought it felt like a fancy word that belongs to people who've got money in TV. Until I realized that just producing is organizing, man. It's just organizing spaces, people, resources, and making sure that things happen on that day. Whoever is on set, do what they are supposed to do and make sure that. But the next thing I learned go LXTV was also as a producer, you had to write scripts for your own show. I didn't know what is a treatment at that time. I was struggling, but I did it. I did it, and I became one of their best producers at that short space. I left Alex, went back home to Rustenburg, worked for Northwest TV.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, oh.
My foundation.
Yeah. Because of it started and it fell due to politics.
You paid your dues before you decided to train others?
Before I started my brand. I've been everywhere. Then I said, you know what, I'm tired. I don't want to work for anybody else anymore. I don't want to be in people's things. When they fail me. If I fail alone, I'll be failing myself.
So when you start training, do you first say to people, guys, I can train you, pay me, or do you go look for accreditation first?
Training,
what did you do first?
For me, it didn't start
with did you work for somebody that...
I worked for Let's Read and Write Well Foundation first and gauged my facilitation skills there. And I was like, okay, girl, you can do it. And then obviously you get booked for workshops. It's anything. Well, longer they don't want you to be accredited. They just want a facilitator. When that institute is accredited. And growing up, Go to Song, it was an accredited space as well for training. So I would always be in Mom Beauty's office, snooping around.
So your company is accredited and you as an individual as well?
Yes.
And what's the company you are operating on now?
Sistaboss Academy Company. That's the institute, that's the school.
What does it do? Break it down for
So
us.
Sistaboss Academy Company is an arts and media institute. Our media classes probably will start in 2026, but I've always packaged it like that. So that it's not a surprise. It's arts education. Basically, what we do, we adopt young people in the spaces, the arts, dance, drama, music, and visual arts, and then young people, undergraduates and postgraduates of TV and film production, marketing, in the communication spaces, and then I pair them into what I call a 10 months work readiness program. So when they get there, artists, we try to create an exit strategy for them. You're not going to learn production when you get there. You're not going to learn how to dance. I mean, you know, you are a dancer and musician, but you're going to learn how to become a music teacher, how to become a dance teacher. What is a lesson plan? How does it look like? Who's your beneficiaries? Is it ECD? Is it foundation phase? Is it Banabako primary? Is it high school? Is it tertiary institute? How do you vary your content?
Then who do you partner with for this kind of initiatives? Because obviously, imparting the knowledge to others automatically means somebody somewhere has to get paid because you have to have professional facilitators, you have to have teachers. Then who funds you? Who partners with you?
When I started this, I did it alone. I didn't take many artists. I would take 5 because there's only one me. I would train 5 artists, see them to the end. And then as time goes by, a friend of mine joined me. Then we used to take 10 students. Because of she can run class for 5, I can run class for 5. I always say when you're a facilitator, 1:30. Alone, I could handle 30 students, you know, making sure that they are able to. So I piloted it for quite some time because of you know this blueprint, it goes up and down. And then 2022, I met Acitech South Africa. They were starting a social employment fund project, and then that's how I got money.
Who's Acitech? Because everybody keeps on saying Acitech, Acitech.
So Acitech South Africa.
I know they are around here in Midrand. When I go to Diepsloot, I see some offices there written Acitech.
I'm not sure about the office there, but the main office here, Acitech, is at the old Windybro Theatre.
Oh.
And then the other office is in Cape Town.
So they are there in town in Hillbrow?
Yes.
Wow.
So Acitech South Africa, it's a theatre for young audience organization, later branched into all the arts, but they used to specialize in theatre, and it's an international association.
The Acitech?
Yes. So it's an international association for
I just
theatre.
know they are professional.
Yeah. They are theatre for young audiences, because of half of the time in theatre or in the space of the arts, we would focus on older people, especially theatre. So there was no, they're the forces and engines behind having both the national children's theatre today and everything, because of they've always fostered for young audiences. So then I got SEF through Acitech, and before I got SEF, Acitech was looking for a provincial coordinator for different provinces that were not existing in. So there was a call out for Northwest, and because kids were going Northwest, I knew everybody's going to apply go Gauteng, and I said, I want a competition. I applied for Northwest.
Yeah.
And then I got the job, and I went back home for 2 years to make sure that I
And how many people do you train in Northwest if you get,
Yeah,
because
like
one
right
would
now
say
I've got
Northwest is
100.
a smaller province compared to Gauteng.
Yeah.
So do they also allocate you as according to how
Yeah, I
big
mean,
the provinces?
yeah, the provinces were allocated different numbers. When I started, I used to have 160 something. Now I've got.
And you
about
call that
100.
small?
Now I've got about 100.
Students.
It's 100 artists who are benefiting from me, which is 10 organizations. So we
Wow.
take them kind of organizations, and they've got individuals within.
So are you saying they reduced the number?
Yeah, they reduced due to budgets. I can remember SEF 1 was big.
So you train 100 kids?
I train 100 artists. I just had my previous.
Oh, they don't have to be very young.
No,
So
what
it's-
happens, what Acitech does, ne? It will train artists. Artists must now benefit the little ones, you know. So as a provincial coordinator, your biggest role will be coordinating that all the organizations, their registrar, you help them with whatever that you think it's the lack. So in Northwest, the biggest lack was most artist organizations were not formal. Most artist organizations don't even know how to write a proper proposal. Most artist organization doesn't understand the business side of the arts. Most artist organization bashapake quality assurance in terms of their product.
But what do you teach them?
Then what I do as a coordinator, I look at their needs and I suggest training workshops. The ones that I can teach myself, I teach. The ones that I can't teach, I will outsource a service provider and say, Mamela, we need theater making workshop. Let me get Mama to come and teach theater making, because theater making has dance, drama, music, lighting, sounding. Then I would then hire facilitators who comes teach stage management, who comes teach set designing, music. So I would teach dramatic arts because of I grew up in that space.
But then I'm a bit worried. I'm listening to you and I'm thinking about Northwest. You are teaching 100 people. I know I've never seen theaters in the Northwest. Then doesn't it go for waste that you are teaching people all these things, but then they've got no platforms to go practice their craft?
Well, with Acitech, they have created an attitude or a culture to say, you don't need a building to practice theater. You don't need the theater space. You need the audience, and how you get your content to the how part is the critical part. Because we teach them set designing, how to make set, guide recyclable boxes, study fridge, and be able to put it more grivae, drive it to the school, set it up, and play a show for the kids.
Wow. So meaning they can actually do industrial theater?
Yes.
Basically?
Yes.
Oh,
they
so-
do puppet shows. They do, what is this? Shadow puppetry. Because I'll just have to organize a group of kids, put them in a room, make the room dark, put a sheet, we put a projector and the artists are behind and they do shadow puppetry for the kids. Remember, they are trained to benefit the kids. So they are more into that space.
I'm in Zirast.
Yeah.
I'm attending the Sistaboss course, and then I graduate. But I need to pursue this. I need to be a big star. Am I forced to then leave Northwest and go to Gauteng for greener pastures?
Yeah, waiting the arts in Northwest is a struggle, not because of it's a struggle. Petty politics are making the arts very difficult in Northwest. Greediness, the brown envelope, you know that attitude is what is making. When I started working for ACTH as a provincial coordinator, it was difficult for me to reach to other areas because of I'm not a favorite one, because of I'm not a brown envelope girl. It's either you are in or you are out and we're going to do it right or artlogel.
But don't you think that's going to affect the arts going forward? Because at the end of the day, we're going to get people that buy their way through than those that have got the real talent.
It is affecting Northwest. I'm not going to say much. There's a lot of things that were cut down for Northwest and Limpopo in the arts, in those big meetings that you sit with government because of the very same thing. I mean, Mabana it used to be one of the biggest platform.
Would you believe that I was one of the people that performed at Mabana?
But
all
now
those Mabana institutions as a dancer. I've been to all of them, to Tabanchu, to Rustenburg, Tetlabani. I can't remember. I think if
Mabana is dying. Hosatil where there's name Mabana. I mean the Mabana in Rustenburg where I come from.
But why are we allowing that? Why are you allowing it?
I am not, but there's only me in this big ocean. It's not when you take a drop of water and you pour it in an ocean, it just make a ripple up to here. It can't go. And then that's number one. Number two, the circle is the Atsuko Northwest. It's so small.
But
to a point that if Rekabana here now on the Lifestyle League, Rokopana ko the next project and Ukonkwala. One understand as much as Limu Gauteng, the arts they are.
But Gauteng at least it's too many people.
It's too many people,
yes.
And you can be your own person.
Yes.
While Northwest are own person, it's either you are there and them. So I'm one of they and there is them. One of the reasons is because of when we go to these engagements, I would have a different view. For the fact that I do look at caucusing and I have a different view towards certain things in terms of the arts, I've always been segregated or sidelined as kenano kitsiba too much, spume jozi, utlakadi mentality. And I said to them, but as Northwest Artists, you always want to live to Gauteng or you envy people in Gauteng. You should be sucking or suck up all the energy and the information that I have. You don't even have to go to Gauteng. We can actually, because I always tell people, Northwest in a lady resources, haina content it's stable, haina content, the management, let me say the management of things is a problem.
Are you aware that when some of us were growing up, we looked at, the former Buputatswane as the place to be? Sun City was there. The biggest studios in Africa, if not in the world.
Yes.
Bob Studios. You would have international artists coming to record in South Africa. The stadiums that you guys had, all those things,
Let me tell you, as I said, it's either politics moves you forward or destroy you. That's the biggest truth. Number one, except general politics study arts, there's politics study tribes. Those things
no
are
ways.
huge.
Are you sure?
I'm telling you, Royal Bufuke, right? When I started working with ACTH, there was a moment where I had a fight with some of my organization members because of Bonake Barolong, Nake Mufuke, and there was a tribal issue on work-related issues. And I was like, it's an guy, because Royal Bafokeng is rich. And anyway, we are very rigid in our...
But don't you think it would also be good for you, talking about that, to go to the Bafokeng family and say, I need to build the arts in
Well,
Northwest.
lele.
In Northwest.
Can I not even speak Kabafukeng because I'm not allowed to speak about
Okay,
them.
okay.
But I would say, as ngwana wa Mufukeng, I'll speak as a person oiling Mufukeng. I mean, Royal Bafokeng has an administration independent from government. It doesn't even have a department of arts and culture in that administration. They have youth, they've got heritage. How about the benefit? It's either you benefit either way, and then there is the economic development. The article Sefukeng, di thomile ile something e leng gore e berekiswa ko meketeng ya kgosi. Traditional dance, a poet, those were the recognized ones. How can contemporary dance ba go makalla? But now young people ba gola, and this is my conversation. There's bursaries in Bafokeng to study even media, and then they were complaining gore bana ba ko Phokeng ga re boe after the bursaries. Why ga gona
The platforms.
where do I come back to? There's no TV stations. There is Herald newspaper.
Because I'm looking at that Royal Bafokeng precinct, and I'm looking, there's a stadium that's not used. It was one of the stadiums for the World Cup. And imagine if you were to also have a theater there.
Let me
And
tell
it's not
you,
far from Joburg.
it goes back to what I'm saying. Management. One of the things that I learned through my journey was arts administration, because of the very same role of when you put a person who manages minerals. I get go ba fucking manage the mineral. Obo mo beya ko di arts nahana ho tlo etsahalang. Because of they are measuring the arts ka mindset wa science.
But why don't we apply the same thing? And I'm going to use Patrice Motsepe as an example. From the mining industry.
Yes.
He's a lawyer, academically, but he's now the CAF president. He
Which
went
is
into
sports.
sport. Yes. So I'm saying, can't we start doing that for the arts as well?
Let me tell you, Royal Bafokeng hona yanong in only 2 schools. In Ali Kitsong, which is a private school, Bafokeng, there is the
And private schools are doing very well.
Yeah, Lebone 2 college, Bafokeng, and they are not even utilizing caps, these schools. I know they specialize ko Kitsong ka sciences and maths, but they've got the drama and arts department. So they're also merging both because of, and I love that idea. You know why? Because of, I'm saying the arts methodologies, informal education is important because of any child who practices arts gets to balance the 2 sides of their brain. So if you are a math student or a science student and you are a painter, you tend to do pretty much well in your mathematics and your science because of arts activate the other side of brain. Remember, scientists, as I call them the Z's, they work from the left side of the brain. And then artists and creatives, we are the Z's, we work from the right side of the brain. But the intention or the love that I would love to see in South Africa for a black child is for them to become Zizos, meaning a full brain, a Z and a Zo. When do you know when to become analytic and when do you know to use your creative side? And then when you put them both, I'm telling you, we are going to have children who are fully well developed. So in communities, reintroduce to one side of a brain, how hola, it's difficult.
Don't you think we, the ones that might have made it a little bit to be there, are also failing the ones coming after us because we are not trying to create a certain map that says to a child born 10 years ago that, or 5 years ago, that you can actually do A, B, C, D and end up, at a certain spot. There's no road map for the arts industry where I'll use rugby and cricket. They are seen as white spots. You can actually start from primary school knowing that you want to be a professional cricket player or a rugby player. But in the arts industry, there's nothing like that.
That's why Sistaboss Academy Company was born. That's one of the biggest reasons. That's why the company side, which is Sistaboss Concepts, teaches Babatona Basembatsule what we call occupational intelligence. to say you didn't get this opportunity to be introduced to it when you were a baby. We have workshops that you can attend. But Sistaboss Academy, we start at ECDs. So we have a curricula that I have written and produced.
ECDs are early childhood
development yes.
institutions.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have written a curricula called Rea Ruta Arts. Unfortunately, I can't accreditation, GNU government, accreditation has been paused in the space.
Wait. GNU came in and they stopped.
Yeah, I feel there's been a conversation, but immediately after GNU, I think everything just paused in that space, accreditation in terms of arts, of education. Accreditation is not happening for some of arts courses or arts whatever right now. I think the only one that I see sensible is art and design and events management. But saying more performing arts, they've been stopped. I think there's still researching or there's a process that's still going on because of a lot of artistic companies or a lot of companies who posed as artist organizations went and got this accreditation. But there's a lot of faultiness that is happening in that space. So probably they're trying to clean up or whatever. But however, I finished my curricula. I wanted to accredit it. Boom, the accreditation is closed. But however, that is not stopping me. That's why...
I like what you just said though. And sorry to interrupt you. You're talking about regulation of you guys training organizations. What measures should be put in place for that kind of regulation? Because you're right. I've had a complaint about people not trained well. And because most of us work with intents, and because we've been running our businesses, we can actually see the intents that were given a little bit of knowledge and those that don't have knowledge.
Exactly.
But how does government come in and regulate that process?
I mean, what they do, as long as we've got that portfolio file by Batlang, and then for site visit, it's all about ticking boxes.
Yeah, because I asked myself one question.
I give you...
I'm glad you said that. Repeat what you just said.
Yeah, so it's ticking boxes.
So I'm sitting here, for example. You've been to our premises. We are not even an accredited training facility, but we've got all those facilities to do such a thing.
Yes.
So my question is it allowed that people can just come and do that as long as they train to come and just use the facilities and claim that it's theirs, or they have to declare that they can come and use I think plot facilities, for example, which is the facilities that we have? Because we are also trying to get that kind of business. We don't want to compete with you guys that are doing training, but we are saying we do have facilities.
Yes.
Can't you at least train them well?
This is what I'm saying.
Because people are not training people. They're doing workshops and they call it training.
This is what I'm saying. People get accredited kamaga. Let me just say it that way. Organize it out, but the minute you get real training, you don't even go back to them. Nahana if kiberekisa your space. Everything for all the right boxes. Then tomorrow I get funding to train. I decide to learn go community church spacing and do.
And there are no facilities. There's one camera there. You're having 50 students and they're looking at that camera that's sitting on the stage. Whereas...
Let me tell you, it goes back to saying when the pie is big enough for all of us and greed becomes in front of everything, it is in quality because of one, I go to students I have to pay Arthur. So chelete twenty patele venue a cost them 50,000 rent that comes with equipment. I would rather pay kereke 800 ranta and call 1-2 people on a lead camera ke ba fedi 1.5.
But how does...
And that compromises quality.
How is government going to regulate that?
I don't know. Maybe when people apply for funding, study training, after they get it, they should be their own assessors and moderators. Because of assessor and moderator in my institute, it's my friends who said they will.
So you guys, hey guys,
it's like I get people.
I feel pity for our kids. So I'm a Lifestyle League Academy. I apply and teach and even moderate myself?
No, you can't. You can't
Okay.
moderate yourself. This is what happens. I go Kolibone always, go high back in Rustenburg as a badi coach, because there's a teacher who teaches dramatic arts at that school. But high badi towards exams, they bring coaches, which is somebody who's in the industry, who's an expert, to come and work with the kids so that the kids hear another voice than the everyday teacher. Hasna refetsa spana. Katsatila assessment yabana. There's a moderator department of education that comes. Half of the time, I don't know that person. The teacher does not know. Ba romella CV ya hae 2 days before.
Ke ba ne re ba bitsa di inspector when we were growing
yes.
up. Okay.
So the hotla inspector at school. Now hotla inspector ya subject. They come sit and the kids do what they do. Assessment is not done between me and her. In our training institute, we have assessors and moderators, but half of the time, these are individual accredited people like that. And na go ngidi chomtsa rona. Let's just be honest.
But doesn't it compromise the level of education
It goes back to what I'm saying.
that we are giving our kids?
This is what I'm saying. Let's get assessors and moderators who are not our friends. Baba rumelang here
Do you guys have a regulatory body?
as
Training, whatever
the
you
training
call yourself.
institute.
Yeah.
I think most independent one. Two, we subscribe to CETA demands. As long as you tick the box, you have a right to whatever. Especially in the arts, it's either you belong to the well-known organization, you are a member ya SIFSA, ya SAMIKI, ya SA, ya SIGA, ya But I haven't seen a space where they say this is a organization that brought together all the trainers. We are only trainers in that space where we are looking at regulations and what and what and what. I haven't. It's either we are a component of other, like go SIFSA, education and what.
Without
Go
sounding
kai kai.
racist,
Yeah.
would you then say that's why organizations like ACITESH are forever prospering, because they've got white leaders in them?
Whew. I would say yes. And at the same time, I kind of like want to say no. You know why? My yes and no is, one, I don't want to say black people were irresponsible. We are what. There's some of us who are really responsible. So I'm going to speak for me. I mean, my kids were graduating Friday as we were launching a book.
Was it the party I was invited to and I didn't go to?
Yes. If you were there and you listened to the comments, somebody said, I've never seen government officials attend this meeting, this setup, speak and sit, clap hands throughout and want to sit until the end and stay for photo shoots. Because of all of these things, they tend not to become interesting. They become repetitive. But showcase, they were there until the end because of what we experienced there is what a lot of young
Sister
people
Boss,
are yearning for.
wait a minute. I saw your poster. I saw so many government sponsors.
They
Are you
partners.
telling me those people went there and attended?
Yes.
So you must be doing something right.
Yes. they
Because I
said-
saw your poster, I couldn't believe it.
Yes.
I mean, you had over 5 sponsors, partners.
partners.
Yes.
So I wouldn't say sponsors,
Yeah,
but
that's
they
why
are
I'm saying partners.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Yeah, I
partners.
mean, Ekurile Libraries gave us the venue for free. Department of Arts and Culture, when I started the training, Yabana never graduated in Tembisa, which was a new place. I didn't have a venue. They went to City of Ekuruleng as the department, got me, Moses Mulelekwa. I ran my classes for my students there. And then they also invited 40 young people to come and do the pre-assessment training because I was going to take out of the 40, right? So they were there from the beginning until the 10 months comes to an end. They were there to see the kids that they recommended, that they called, not even me.
I saw Gauteng province as well.
Yes, I mean, there was...
I saw Asitesh as
yes,
well on
GDE,
the poster. GDE.
Yes, there's
Wow.
a coordinator at GDE, Arts and Culture, that we work
So
with.
you must be one of those that are doing something right.
Probably, yes. I would consider myself that. I mean, Asitech is the one who's been paying the stipends of the work readiness program. So these artists, they come there, Asitech pays their monthly stipend to make sure that after training, bakhono your practicals, because there are practicals, what happens after class. Because it's a 10 months, they are in class for 4 months. After 4 months, they go on the field. So I will place you term 1 in ECD, high school, primary. Term 2, sweeper, let's go to high school. So that you know, hake exit here, if what type of audience or children do I really want to educate.
Have you ever had a student, I know you're still new, that you could sit and say, that's my shining star?
Actually, we had our alumni at our event on Friday, class of 2022 from Rustenburg. Her name is Makaleng. She graduated, took her portfolio and applied for a bursary to Boston. She's now studying marketing management, full funded bursary because of our work we did with her for Boston. And then she applied for a job with that portfolio because let's say the portfolio. She got a job. She works at a center at Dilankabanaba Autism because of her specialty was the little children. So, and then when she got there, now she is called now an ABA teacher because of she has to be trained on special needs children. She's now qualified as an ABA teacher who use arts methodologies, Sistaboss Academy, to develop banana autism.
Tata, Sistaboss.
And now she's also studying child psychology. And then in our programs, we also make them meet other people in the industry. So she happens to be in a training incubation, Yanala Writers, which was led by one of their facilitators was Ntate Sabata Mokai. She's now having a one of her children's book coming out of that project. So when they come into our space, we say to them, yeah, we understand you are a storyteller, you are an actor, but you need to build a career. Don't wait for contract jobs. Comedian, I'm going to do that, and then I have to sit. Because when you're a teacher, you are set on a 12 months contract minimum.
Sure, there's just
3
a
months
lot that comes to my mind when you talk about that. I mean, I see you each time we have our SIGA lectures, how active you are and how participate and how energetic. One would even think you are just a nobody because you make sure you lead by example. And even on this Friday where I missed the event, you were launching a book.
Yes. So I was launching this book. It's called Born Positive.
You know why I'm shaking my head?
Why?
I still don't have a book. Like, I don't have a book. If I were to go today, no one knows anything about me.
Let me tell you, this is not, I don't want to call this my book.
Yes,
However,
but it's a book.
It's a book.
The fact is, you
It's a
wrote a book. You are teaching somebody.
No,
about
I didn't
something.
even actually write this.
Yes.
I'm waiting to write my own autobiography.
So you were launching this for somebody?
I was launching this book. I'm the compiler, not the author. So there's a difference between a compiler and an author. And sometimes these are the things we teach our kids. Because of Ralwana, the royalties, legalities, music, and then now when I have to accredit myself as the author of this book, it's me stealing from the young writers. So as a compiler, I'm the project owner. The project is called Born Positive Stories of Resilience. A thought came into my mind last year. Actually, it started at 2022, but last year was the starting to say it's 30 years of democracy in South Africa. I would really like to collect stories of resilience of young people who were born within the millennium. Who won't tell you that their story of resilience has to do with post-apartheid, the stories had to do with apartheid or a transition era, it's about 94. No, I wanted somebody who was purely born between 2000 and going. To hear what is their stories of resilience. Because of stories of resilience, ANCYL, Sistaboss, they have a touch of apartheid, struggle, English, Afrikaans, whatever the stories are. Then I wanted to hear the voices of young people who are born 2000 going up. What is their stories of resilience? Because of, I believe their story is not one. Youth in 1976 or apartheid era, their story was one. As much as they had personal struggle, but the major struggle was we want freedom, we want democracy. But now that all of this is happening, you choose which language do you wanna, which school do you wanna be. What is the actual struggle of these young people? Because of since millennium to now, these kids, most of them, have resilience. They're into alcohol, they're into drugs, they're into partying as solutions. They're into becoming Bakradi blesser as men in life. What is going on in
Let
that
me ask
space?
you, you just mentioned something. Why are our kids today, and I would use the so-called, because I'm not used to this term, I'm a 2000. Why are they so rebellious?
Are they rebellious?
I think so.
They're not.
Tell us about it.
After I worked on this project, I didn't realize that they are not rebellious. They are kids who are born into broken parents. Youth Year 1994 comes from brokenness, right? We lead. That's why even the government today it is what it is in South Africa. We lead from a point of trauma.
So, in short, it's not being rebellious. You are saying it's revolutionary for their generation.
Yes, they are the Generation Z. Remember, so they are at the Z. The Z children are very vocal, very action. If they don't like something, they will tell you. If you don't listen, they will act. Yes. Simple.
There they are. There they are.
Simple.
You see, you're exciting them now.
Simple. And Rona Bakhale, we couldn't even tell our parents if you don't like something, you'd think it's disrespectful.
Oh, that's why they're battle.
Yeah, you wouldn't say, Mama, I don't like this. I've got a daughter, 2004. My daughter, there's a visitor coming, Munku. And how this is my house, and I also live here. This visitor affects my space. This visitor affects my space. So you must tell me, I'm a member of this house. It's your house. So respect Linarkina Munkunya house. She told me that, blind. But if it was me, would I said that to my mom? We saw visitors coming in and out. And then the next time a visitor comes, wait, Upaka Bek, I'll stay out with. You didn't tell me. Now I have to smile and entertain people.
So that might be, according to you, the generation that saves this country.
You say this generation can save this country?
Yeah.
According to me?
Yeah.
If they are given the right tools, they are blunt. They are very blunt. They are true to what they believe in. It's either you are for them or you are not for them. There's no warm and cold and cool here. It's either you are hot or you are cold with this generation. So generations are not no. Hot. I'm so cold with you. With them, they've got your back, that's how they are with one another. I mean, I've got a friend of mine, daughter, she's visiting. 5. Huge.
Yeah.
But Hana reprimanding it. She tells it like it is to my daughter.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying?
So it's
Abana backstepping, just like the generation here.
Yeah.
We backstep each other. We are in that space. That's why the brown envelope recognize the feelings. Yeah, a generation here, no, it's either le mali so ipuza so reto retadila lady consequences samsam. Rona bagale. Nane ke se yo bona. Yeah, but there's always let me tell you, young people.
So this book is about understanding the young.
Yes, I wanted to hear their stories of resilience, right? I mean, you hear stories of children who are born HIV positive. They don't know any other life but life of the ARV from Pampers.
And it's in here.
Yeah, and then...
Because I see you have 13 writers as well.
Yes, there's 13 young writers in that book. Others are writing for a point of the lifestyle ya mama in affectile. That's why I'm saying lifestyle that are broken created these monsters. They call themselves, let me tell you something. Post-apartheid youth were post-apartheid youth. 1994, we were called the lost generation. Youth ya lona lebo oskido. You were named the lost generation. These ones, they named themselves the scarred nation. And I asked them, Why the scarred? We are living in your scars. You guys are scarring us from your scars.
Yeah.
I mean, you created democracy. And then we understand nobody taught you about democracy. But however,
You are here.
you are here and you are giving children in this democracy that you were not taught to navigate. So you are fucking it up. That's the word. Sorry to use the F word, but that's the words you get from these children. They will tell you, that generation ya khale, before democracy, there was no freedom of speech. So I couldn't ask you, Papa Kakimang. But there is freedom of speech in 2025. I want to know who's my dad. And if you don't want to tell me, how do you think I'm going to behave? I was not taught, I must submit to Mama and Papa and be quiet. I was born in 2000, for God's sake, where freedom of speech and my rights and everything were posted in my face every day.
So guys, as an assignment now, we now know we need to interview a lot of young people and get to understand what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Because if we believe that the young people are the future, we need to start understanding them.
Yeah, we really need to do. So I'm a compiler of those stories of resilience. So I just came with a project called Born Positive Stories of Resilience, utilizing the 7 C's of resilience. Because of government...
What processes? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, government is just messing up the education system. We have this robust, strong mind world, young people, with an education system that is weak. It doesn't match, it doesn't make sense. That's why Banabano Batlo metric achievement in South Africa. You know why? They will tell you doctors and scientists are hustlers. So why don't you give a doctor? I want span. Instead, doctor. So the system does not fit this mindset. This mindset is huge. The frustration is because of this system is making them small and they're not. Education system in South Africa is very weak for the kids, but today. But Naba know they're very vocal, they're open-minded, they're learning a lot. Media is here every day and they question each and everything. So we cannot have a system that doesn't support that. Our education, our basic education in South Africa is not working. Simple thing for an artist, as you were saying, Banababa exposed to sports and knowing that they want to do sports very early. But go the arts, why ili extract? I work in that space. This is the sad part. When I take my facilitators, I get for a practical, teachers get threatened for their jobs. One. Or you'll get there, creative arts. But choose the dance as a subject in that school. Bafabana speaker, balebella ngwana o itluetsa mapiano thata. Tsama lo tlola
aba video ba shoot.
Aba maka maths. Cause ele ke subject. A fetsa assessment ya ngwana o khona ngo tlola le di video tseo ba tlatsa. Ngwana o kila bona ngwana o goteng ona le level 3 ko creative arts ko skolo. All of them ba mo level 7, level 6 because of it's difficult, and then you see West government school barato choose visual art, and visual art is expensive. Oboya ko skolo, oboilo check out the print out ba le tsabana. Ba printela bana color wheel ka black and white. How am I supposed to know the color, which is secondary colors, primary colors, and tertiary colors? Black and white, all of them. You ask them, bar I want the resources. And then I realized that they lied. That's why you saw GDE there. I was traveling with them, but then what do teachers do? They steal the material for their kids who are studying in a good school somewhere. You get to grade 10 and ask a child who's in grade 10, what is a primary color? They don't know. But they've been doing creative arts from grade 4. Primary color, yellow, blue, red, it teach you about grade 4. You don't know it. And the designers more South Africa. If you don't know, you can't be a designer in terms of color mixing if you don't understand your color wheel. And it was printed black and white. So this is the realities of the system. These kids are here. The system is failing them. How do you give me a black and white color wheel and expect me to master colors? How?
So what are the challenges that you are facing currently as training institutions or trainers, whatever you call yourselves?
Yeah, now or the industry?
Both.
For me, I'm becoming a threat. That's my challenge. Wherever we go, somebody even said the other day, why your facilitators, they have your aura. Get it? Because how can I go Sistaboss Academy? I tell you something. This is how we do things here. It's either you follow through or we go before naku go. Because it's mukuba or not.
Yeah.
It's either you change or you don't. Because of, I believe in quality, and quality starts with you. What do I mean? How you dress when you come to my job. It's first quality that I want.
I must look at myself. Yeah?
I want to look at. I always say, after 3 months, what glow? Because here, you must look proper. This thing are the attitude. This thing are township artist, the chila get art. No. Nah, not here. We do our hair, we do our nails, we brush. It's not about fancy clothes. It's about how the very same little clothes, you treasure them. And we teach them, the first thing that we teach them is an attitude of pride. Have pride in who you are and in who. Nobody can come to you because of how the glow. You know, so those are some of the things. And then now when Harry is spanning, it was funny, we were telling people, Friday, hey, we can't wait to get out of this. Because I was tired. Because you work with kids in an art space. How are you going to do that? You understand? So that's, for me, it's an issue, or I'm getting a lot of requests of people who wants to be part of my institute, but I'm also getting a lot of backlashes to say I was there and I was not accepted or whatever, then you're going to decide to go speak. It's because of, if you can't conform to the culture of this institute, but I will warn you, I will tell you, but you are not doing it right. But eventually, I think me and you have to part ways because of these reasons that I've been telling you about, and you are not changing.
And the challenges of the
challenges
industry.
In the industry as a whole is that, as you say, bogus trainers, babangata, who just want to get the money. But for people who are really doing the work. And that's a painful part of it, more than any other thing. Another thing, as the trainers, we must not be GDE. We must know how to evolve with content. You can't be using the same manuals that you were using 5 years ago. Nah, in the media space, there's new things every day. In the art space, we're living in the contemporary world. You create something new every day in the contemporary space. Then why would Berekisa the very same manual? I mean, textbook, 10 years ago, it's still a textbook.
So you guys write your own manuals?
We create our own content. Okay. Yeah. So we have what we call Rea Ruta Arts. Now it's going to branch to what we call Rea Ruta Arts Toys. Educational toys, because
there's a lot we've discussed about training, and you are also a fashion designer, or you produce hats, and because today you're not living here till I get a hat for myself. If it's for females only, I'll get it for somebody.
Yeah, so
I've seen them before and I love them.
Yeah, so this is one of them. So it's called I think it's called a fashion designer, but I'm an accessory designer. So I like accessories, not the entire outfit, kind of like. So these are some of my work. So I create accessories, mostly African accessories. This is one of my hats. It's called Unandi. It's a collection of what I call African Queens Asset, Rising the African Queens. I'll see how far I go with. So I started with Unandi, Umamaga Shaga Zulu. If you catch about old pictures, it has these circles.
Oh yes, here, ne?
Yeah, yes. Circles that are like that. If you look at the old picture, so I took something, which is these circles. Then I created this hat. I call it Nandi. Nandi was a mother, was an educator.
And there's this other one that looks like the one I had for my music video. Is it this one?
That looks like. So that one is called I Am Sistaboss. It's named after my brand. I said I'm a queen too. So I need to rise
But
myself.
anything for men?
For now, let me tell you what's happening. A lot of men are getting attracted to that hat.
That's why I'm asking, because I'm looking at this one and I'm thinking about the one I had for my music video, and I'm thinking, yeah, kancane nyana, maybe I must try it.
Yeah. So I'm getting a lot of men ordering.
Guys, why are you not clapping hands? Or maybe it's because of my specs. Yeah?
I'm getting a lot of
How is it
clients.
though? How is it? Why are you guys laughing at me?
I'm getting a lot of clients.
Let me see. Maybe with the
it's not your right
Maspakos.
size. It's a bit
Oh,
big.
so
That's
it's
why.
supposed to be like this, no?
Yes.
Something
and
like
then
this.
The smaller it fits you, the better.
Is it better?
So most teachers and most people who are in a political space, they love that head. I don't know why. And some few artists, male, they buy it. And then they said, I don't mind wearing it in same way I'm Sistaboss. I mean, hamukima, you know. So these are cotton crochet, hand crochet.
Who does them? And I'm asking this question because as we were growing up, you know, during the riots and stuff, my mom used to have 2 crochets and
Yeah.
I would do jerseys.
Yeah.
I know how to use crochets.
Yes.
And there's a crochet and there's those 2.
Eh.
I use those 2 and there's another small one.
One. My mom used
the
crochet.
crochet is the small one.
Yes.
And then you
All
pull
of them,
this
they are-
thing
they
and
are
you take
being
it
crotched,
in.
yeah.
And then there's that one for 2. Yes, I use those things.
So I know how to crotch, but I don't have time.
Okay.
Then my mom, and I know how she knows how to crotch.
Yes.
Then I said, Mama, let's start a small business. I want you to make this hat for me. And I wore it for the first time, like that media launch. After that, I got a lot of orders.
Yes, I mean, you were looking good. I remember
I
commenting
got
about
a lot
it.
of orders. Then I said to Mama, oh, okay, we started carrying Sistaboss Academy as my head. Then the whole idea then came. If you look at that one, the black one, if you take it out, that one, MOL,
Yeah.
that one is called Cleopatra.
Oh, yeah, this is influenced by.
Yeah, by Queen of the Ptolemaic Kingdom, which is Cleopatra.
Today I'm becoming a fashion designer. It's funny that my mom is doing accessories and stuff like this. So
Yes.
now I'm inspired to try and find a way of helping her.
Yeah,
I love this.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
want
see
it
now.
for yourself. That's nice. So that one is called Cleopatra. Because Cleopatra
And how much is this?
this one is 350. And then I'm Sistaboss is 220. And then 90 is 300. And then the last head is called Asantewa. So Asantewa is the queen mother
I
of
was going to say Asante. Ne? This
it's
a Kenyan.
Yeah, as a Ghanaian.
Canadian.
So what I took from this, it's one a little, but she just has 2 ropes.
Oh, I love that.
And then the reason why
So you were inspired by those?
yes, he was wearing a hat, a military hat that goes like this. When she took a gun and said, if the men of Ashanti won't fight the whites, ASEAN Bafas, we're going to fight this. So she was wearing a hat that has strings, a steel hat. So this was the inspiration from Asantewa. So these are the queens that I'm rising for now. So we'll see what happens with other queens as time goes by. But I really want to focus on these 4 hats.
Can I challenge you to do one extra one?
Okay?
Can you also have Queen Muchachi?
That will be interesting.
Please research about Queen Muchachi.
I will.
You know, I mean, you have Queen Nandi, have Muchachi, and we have Asantes, we have Cleopatra. You know.
I will look into it. That will be a very interesting challenge to look at. But however, yeah, this is...
Failing which?
Eh?
Failing which? We want Mam Win Mandela again. You see, the house is agreeing with me.
It's agreeing.
Yeah.
So this African Queens, I said, is getting a lot of attention. We'll see how it goes. I want to do an event very soon, which is a fashion show that is going to be also an exhibition, because I am knitting them on a canvas for an exhibition, so that you can have the history of Nandi on that canvas and stuff like that. Because if I feel these women played a critical role in the politics during the times where things were really difficult. I mean, Umam ya Asantawa had to carry guns and the women of Ashanti to go fight the Boers. Nandi raised Ushaga. Nobody, like the entire world knows Ushaga. So who was the force behind Shaga? Was Nandi, the one that they thought she's not that worth it. Cleopatra, as much as people would like to think she's notorious, for me, she's a famous economist and a strategist. And then if Nasbergsa femininity high to let it be. We take different guns to war. And if her sexuality was a gun, then let it be.
Interesting.
Yeah, because of Asantewa took the real gun. Cleopatra was very sexy and seductive. That was her gun. But beyond everything else, she was one of the richest queen in her times. You know, and took back everything that Rome took for Egypt.
Yeah, before we get to the art of war. Before we get to the art of war. But, you know, I know we ran out of time, but
Yeah.
I still feel we need to maybe have a panel discussion with, you know, you guys, education. What do we
Yeah.
call you guys?
We are called training and education sector.
Okay.
Yes.
Before one day we need to have this conversation. I still feel there's more to it, because now that I know that they are bogus ones, I feel we need to start speaking out.
Yeah, we have
Because
to.
this is for our children, and keeping quiet is not going to help us.
Yes.
Do you have any last words? I enjoyed myself. I learned a lot.
My last one is like, thank you for having me. I mean, people say I like to be modest. I don't like, if you've seen me, I work from the background half of the time. I'm not ever in front. I don't want to consider myself as a celebrity or anything. But thank you for having me. I love meaningful conversations. I think it is time where I start to share my story. Because
Yeah.
people know a little or know grasps. But for me, I'm Thapelo Pule. Ngwana mama gaile papa gae. I am Sistaboss. Sistaboss is a creative and a lifestyle entrepreneur, meaning I create work out of anything that suits my personal life, which is a writer, a poet, a maker, and a teacher.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sistaboss.
Thank you.
It was nice having you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.